Hey guys, welcome to my newest video for today. Today's video is going to be weekly reviews number 18. So I will just go straight into it because I have a few things here to talk about. And first up, I have a TV show season that I finished watching, and that was Doctor Who Series 4. I'm slowly making my way through the rewatch of the new Who. I've talked about this before, but Series 4 is probably my all-time favourite series of like the current Who run, and yeah, it's just so much fun getting to rewatch Series 4 because Series 4 has a personal, like, I guess, soft spot for me because this was a series that first got me hooked into Doctor Who. So yeah, because this is where I pretty much jumped on board, and I've been watching it ever since. And yeah, it's just a great series. It's got so many great episodes. I love Donna. She's my favourite companion, and yeah, David Tennant and Catherine Tate just work so well together, and that's one part, like a reason why this season works so well for me. Just watching those two work alongside each other. In terms of favourite episodes, I would say probably Turn Left would be one of them. Partners in Crime, the first episode. Midnight's also another really good one, and also of course the finale, like Journey's Stolen Earth and Journey's End, just where you got the epic team up with it's just got like Rose, Martha, Captain Jack, Sarah Jane. It's just a great like 2-part episode, and it's I just love Series 4. It's what I said, like I've talked about this a bunch of times, but basically, Series 4 is awesome. It's a 10 out of 10 for me, and it's my favorite, as I said, my favorite series of new Doctor Who. So that was the TV season that I watched, and then going into the movies. First up, I rewatched Mockingjay Part 1 in preparation, of course, for Mockingjay Part 2. I know this one is very mixed among, I guess, fans, and that, because like, on the one hand, you've got some people who don't like it because they think it's too slow. And while I will be inclined to agree that, yes, a lot of the action was saved for Part 2, I do actually like Part 1. I liked the build-up. I love all the political intrigue and the manoeuvring, and getting to see, Katniss slowly evolve into becoming, like the Mockingjay, and like actually takes on the handle, like, to ignite, to unite the rebellion. I just thought all that was done really well, and I think ultimately I do prefer Catching Fire over Mockingjay Part 1, but it's still a very good I guess penultimate movie like in the franchise, and I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Then I rewatched Thor: The Dark World as part of my MCU rewatch, and again, it seems another sequel that seems to be that you either love it or you hate it. I'm one of the people who loved it. I just have so much fun with this one because it's it's definitely a lot more lighthearted sequel. Because obviously where the MCU is heading now, it's a lot more darker, and sort of when I rewatch these ones, I sort of do like the more lighthearted movies, I guess, just to sort of break up the monotony of like how dark the franchise is becoming. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. Like I like and it's like the direction it's going in, but I definitely like movies like Thor: The Dark World, and it's because it's got like some of my favorite, like, just because it's got so much little moments. I love Thor and Loki's like I guess bickering when they're on the like trying to escape Asgard, and just Loki's running commentary as all the like the other ships are firing on them is just hilarious. It's probably my favorite moment in this in the film. But it's because I'd probably say I would prefer The Dark World over the first Thor film, which even though I did enjoy it, as I said, I enjoyed the first Thor movie, but I liked that it was more, with the sequel, it was more expanded on, like you got a lot of the supporting characters got more to do because it wasn't, we were past the whole introduction stage. And, what's her name? Frigga, I think that's her name, Thor's and Loki's mother. She was just awesome. She's probably, next to Lady Sif, she's probably my favourite supporting character. Or at least in my top 3 favourite supporting characters, like aside from the main cast. But yeah, Thor The Dark World for me, is just a lot of fun, and it's just a movie I like to. It's a very easy to watch, and as I mentioned before, sort of like now that everything's going to hell in the MCU, is like sort of appreciate these like more lighthearted moments, and I'm gonna give Thor The Dark World, and I think I'm gonna give this one an 8.5 out of 10 as well. So then I have a first time viewing, and I watched Slow West. And this one I was curious about because I'd been hearing a lot of great things about this film. And part of the draw for me was because it had Michael Fassbender in it. And I was pretty much anything that he's in, I will see. And this film was no exception. It was, it's a very different film because it's sort of, it's like a character driven movie. It's quite short. It's only like an hour, 20 minutes. But for me, it's sort of reminded me a bit of Breakback Mountain, which I'm not sure if that, it's not in that, like where you've got just the two characters and, they're just sort of talking, and you sort of see their journey through that. That aspect of the film reminded me of Breakback Mountain, but like with the journey and things like that. But yeah, it was very different to the film was actually very different to what I was expecting, because I didn't realize, because I think when I read the description I thought it would be kind of not so much like an epic journey as like this kid's trying to go and find his like lost love and that, but I thought, it was definitely a different film, and because and it's one thing I will say is that it's a very visually stunning movie. The cinematography is excellent in this movie, and and it sort of was definitely one that I don't know, I just liked it a lot. It's sort of hard to describe really how I felt about this movie, but it was good, and if you have the opportunity to see it, I would actually recommend it. And I think again I'm probably gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10. It's just a really, it's quite a unique film in my opinion, but it's one that's definitely worth checking out. So, and then I rewatched Too Fast, Too Furious because it's been a while. I attempted to do a rewatch of the Fast and Furious movies in the lead up to Furious 7. That did not happen because I watched the first one and then I just got sidetracked, and I only now just picked up the franchise again, like now that my James Bond marathon is finished. But it's a decent sequel. It's I think I do prefer the first Fast and Furious film to this one, but it's not a bad film. It's enjoyable. It's it's what you expect out of a Fast and Furious movie. It's cars and races and all its fun stuff. So, yeah, it's like, because I think I sort of like, it's been a while since I've seen it, and I sort of put it on and I was like, oh yeah, this is actually a lot better than what I remember it being. But, I'm gonna give Too Fast, Too Furious a 7.5 out of 10. Then I finished off my Hobbit trilogy rewatch with Battle of Five Armies, which I hadn't actually seen since I saw it at the cinema. But I loved, yeah, I just loved this film. It's, I loved all the Hobbit films, but I thought this one was, I just sort of loved how it all came together. It was all, it sort of, you know, tied up the franchise. It's sort of, you also got like the lead into the Lord of the Rings movies. I sort of liked the hints that they dropped throughout that, but yeah, it's just a great, I think it was a great conclusion to the series, and yeah, it's just the way the way the films were shot. I thought it was done really well. Like you've got all these, like with the battles, like the battle scenes were epic in this movie, and yeah, it's just, because like it's sort of like, I don't know how to really describe it. Like there's quite a lot going on, but at the same time you can still like follow all the different points in the film, and yeah, I just sort of love how it's, yeah, as I said, it all comes together, and everyone, like all the cast is great. Yeah. You know, I can also, yeah, you know, continue to love Martin Freeman's Bilbo, because I thought he was, yeah, really good in this one. I mean, it was good in all the other ones, but I really liked him in this one, because he's sort of, you know, he's sort of coming to his own. He's sort of, you know, he realizes that things are wrong with the dwarf, you know, from the, with Thor, and he's sort of like, gotta change something and like do something about this, and I like how he sort of takes it into his own hands, because I loved the whole scene where he encounters the Legolas's father, and he's sort of like, weren't you the one who stole our keys in the dungeons? And he's sort of like, yeah, sorry about that. I just sort of love that, because it's like that whole scene, and but it's yeah, it's a great yeah, great finale, and yeah, I'm kind of sad that you know, because obviously rewatching it's like, you know, this is the last, I suppose, Middle Earth movie that we'll get, so I don't know if they're going to do the Silmarillion. I'd heard rumors that at one point Peter Jackson was planning on doing it, but I haven't seen anything concrete in a while. So I think this is the last entry to Middle Earth, and but I will say one thing is, because having since read The Hobbit, like the book, I'm amazed that they actually managed to get the material for the three movies. It's sort of an impressive feat, because the book's so short, and you just sort of like, and obviously compared to the length of the films, you're like, okay, how do they get all this out of that? But no, I love the Hobbit films. I think ultimately I do prefer the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but the Hobbit movies are still great as well. Like, and you know, it was fun to, yeah, as I said, fun to get to revisit Middle Earth again. And yeah, it's and I'm probably gonna give Battle of Five Armies an 8.5 out of 10. Then I watched Captain America Winter Soldier, which is what was I saying? Which yeah, it's I'm sort of losing, I'm getting sidetracked here. It's, yeah, because I've talked about Winter Soldier before. It's one of, yeah, my favorite MCU films. It's it's just a great superhero film, action film from start to finish. It's just all the, like, you know, the twists and turns, and yeah, it's pretty much what everyone's, you know, talked about this movie is probably said it better, but yeah, I just love Winter Soldier, and it's sort of a great turning point in the MCU films, because you sort of and also with the TV show, because when Winter Soldier happened and how they tied Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in with Winter Soldier, it was really well. I was enjoying the show in the lead up to it, but it really set off once like the collapse of S.H.I.E.L.D. happened, and yeah, it just took a different direction in the show, and yeah, it's yeah, Winter Soldier, yeah, it's just it's a great film, and I'm definitely excited for Captain America: Civil War, because that trailer was awesome, and yeah, it's because it's sort of funny, like, because Winter Soldier, you know, it's like top-notch film, and I think Civil War will surpass Winter Soldier, because at the moment, out of the Captain America films, this is my favorite, and and I've already mentioned that it's like one of my favorite MCU films. I have to sit down and do a proper ranking of the films, but it's like probably in my top 4, I'd say, maybe 3. I have to work it out, but yeah, Minnesota is just amazing, and I'm actually going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's also one of my favorite films of 2014. That's how much I loved the movie, because yeah, Civil War is also like my most anticipated film of 2016. So still got a couple of months to wait, or more than a couple of months actually, because I'm thinking December is like end of April. It's like 5 months still to wait, and yeah, I don't know how. It's sort of like I want the film now, and it's still like 5 months away. So, and then out of the regular movies, I watched The Intern, which actually surprised me, because been hearing mixed things about the movie, and I sort of wanted to see it because I love Anne Hathaway. She's one of my favorite actresses, and yeah, I will see her in just about anything she does. And I was sort of and because also, you know, Robert De Niro, I was curious to see how, like, with the premise, and because the trailer, like, I was interested with the trailer, but then, yeah, again, as I said, when the reviews started coming in and they were very mixed, I was like, I might wait before I see this one. But I'm glad I did see it, because I actually had I just had a really good time watching this movie. It had a lot of heart to it, and it was just interesting sort of seeing like Anne Hathaway's character and Robert De Niro's character sort of build up, you know, their relationship throughout the film, and like their friendship is one of the like it definitely carries the film. Like they really work well together, and yeah, just sort of because there's a nice sort of contrast, because you sort of got Anne Hathaway's character, Jules, I think that's the character's name. She's sort of like running this like really successful online business, and she doesn't really have time for anything other than work, and her like family life suffering because of it, and she's just trying to find the balance. Whereas Robert De Niro's character, he's sort of like he's retired, and he's sort of finding it's hard like to keep him I guess he wants to find a way to be busy and useful, and yeah, it was just a really nice blend and like contrast, and yeah, it's probably one actually I wouldn't mind revisiting again. So I'm gonna give the Intern a 7.5 out of 10. Then I saw 2 movies at the cinema that week, and the first one I saw was Mockingjay Part 2, and it was, yeah, I loved Mockingjay Part 2. It was because this is sort of the one where all the action happens. It's because you sort of saw that in the lead up with Part 1, and how that one was more the political maneuvering and with the rebels, but this one they actually like prolonged, well, not prolonged, but they I guess they took the fight to the Capitol. They sort of yeah, it was, and also because also this film you sort of see Katniss and Peter having to rebuild their relationship because what the Capitol did to Peter, and how he thinks Katniss is the enemy, and yeah, that was actually done really well. Just you sort of like, yeah, and also like with Peter having to figure out what was real and what wasn't, but I will say the journey into the Capitol was done really well. Just sort of how, I mean, I've read the book, obviously, like I've read the book, and because I was sort of watching it, and then I'm like, maybe they'll change, because if you've read it, or seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about, because I'm just like, maybe they've changed some things, and then they didn't change things, and I was just like, no, because yes, this parts, because even knowing it was coming, it was still like heartbreaking watching like the 2 moments in the like the series, like the movie, well, book/movie, but it was just a really well done movie. It was a fitting conclusion to the franchise. I'm really sad that there's no more Hunger Games movies, because yeah, because it's like I've seen all of them at the cinema. Like I saw, yeah, the first one back in like in 2012 when the first one came out. It's sort of hard to believe, you know, the films have been coming out since 2012, and now it's over. It's just sort of but yeah, I thought, yeah, Mockingjay Part 2 was done really well, and it was also it's probably my second favourite, I think, out of the films, because ultimately I think Catching Fire is my favourite, and then it would go Mockingjay Part 2, Part 1, and then The Hunger Games, I think. I think that's my order. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's, yeah, really great conclusion, and I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Then I also got to see Macbeth with Michael Fassbender, because my cinema suddenly, I only found out my cinema was getting the film like I think the week it was coming out, and I was like, ooh, because this film I think came out in Australia in like October, but it was a very limited release, and I just assumed that we wouldn't get it, and because one of the cinemas in the city, it's like 40 minutes from me, they got a screening of it, and I was like, okay, will we get it? And then, you know, this set like with the same release date, but that didn't happen, so I was like, okay, we're not getting it. And then suddenly 2 weeks later, I'm like, oh, we got it. So of course I had to see it, because at that point I was only seeing like, yeah, the one movie, and then because it's sort of but yeah, I was making an exception for Macbeth no matter what, and yeah, it did not disappoint, because what I was saying is I was gonna be seeing Macbeth as sort of like people like looking at me, and I was just like, so I know when I was like telling my mum I was gonna see it, she's like, why? And I'm like, it's Shakespeare and Michael Fassbender. Do I need another reason? Well, that's 2 reasons, but no, it was a really interesting interpretation, because it's been a while since I've actually revisited Macbeth, because we studied it in school, but that was like year 10, which was over 10 years ago. So we did see a production of it, but I remember very little of that production, because it was just like a local, I think the uni had put it on or something, but no, it was sort of like, yeah, it was a very dark, gritty performance, and just, yeah, it was very well acted. Both Michael Fassbender and Maria Cotillard, is that how you say her name? I'm not sure, but she was they were excellent as the main characters, and yeah, it was just really well done, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. So that is it for Weekly Reviews 18. I've decided to change up the format of how I'm going to release, like when I film my reviews for the week. I've decided to do it Sunday to Sunday now, like, because I was filming them on Tuesdays, like after the weekend, because that's where I tend to watch most of my movies, but I've just figured it was easier to sort of do it at the start of the week, and then the following week I'll do this most recent week's films, like reviews, but we'll just see how it goes, because it ultimately depends on how I feel like, if I feel like filming and whatnot, but yeah, we'll see. So I'm just going to stop it here, because I'm just rambling at this point. So thank you guys for watching, and until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye!